Imagine this. You're sitting at your kitchen table, flipping through a jar of pennies that's been gathering dust for decades. You pick up a dull, brown coin. To most people, it looks like pocket change, worth 1 cent. But to the right buyer, that same coin could be worth more than a mansion. Now here's the truth that will send shivers down your spine. The 1936 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin you might already own, has a market value soaring up to $936,000. Yes, close to $1 million for a single cent, but why? Why would anyone pay that much for a coin that most of us ignore or even throw away? And more importantly, how can you tell if the penny in your possession is the golden ticket? Stick with me because by the end of this video, you'll know the secrets collectors don't want you to discover. Quick humorous interrupt. By the way, if you're about to run to your coin jar right now, don't. You'll miss the details that separate an ordinary penny from life-changing wealth. Let's step back into history. The year was 1936. Franklin D. Roosevelt was leading America out of the Great Depression. And in the midst of financial struggle, the U.S. Mint struck the Lincoln cent. Most of these pennies were ordinary. But some, without a mint mark, became anomalies of incredible value. These weren't flashy coins. They didn't sparkle with gold or silver. Instead, their power lay in rarity, condition, and story. And here's where it gets interesting. Collectors will pay astronomical prices for a coin that carries the right combination of age, history, and scarcity. But here's the cliffhanger. Not every 1936 penny is valuable. In fact, most are worth just a few cents. The difference between a penny that buys a stick of gum and a penny that buys a luxury estate lies in three critical factors. The condition. A coin graded as mint state with sharp details and minimal wear could multiply its value 1,000-fold. The absence of a mint mark. Coins struck in Philadelphia carried no letter under the date, making them distinct. The presence of errors or unique striking anomalies. A double die, a slight misprint, or a subtle imperfection could transform a penny into a six-figure jackpot. Now pause and ask yourself, do you really know what's hiding in your drawer? Or could you be sitting on wealth without even realizing it? Imagine explaining to your grandkids that you sold a penny for almost $1 million, and they still ask, "Grandpa, can I borrow 20 bucks?" So here's the truth. The 1936 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a symbol of hidden opportunity. A reminder that wealth often hides in the most ordinary places, waiting for those bold enough to recognize it. Right now, the market has valued one of these pennies at an astonishing $936,000. But here's the urgency. Opportunities like this don't last forever. The world of rare coins is competitive, ruthless, and fast-moving. When collectors realize a coin's potential, prices can skyrocket overnight or vanish just as quickly. If you're holding a 1936 Lincoln penny, don't dismiss it. Get it appraised. Consult a trusted coin dealer. Because every day you wait, you could be leaving generational wealth on the table. And here's the bigger picture. This isn't just about coins. It's about changing your financial destiny. Imagine paying off your mortgage, securing your retirement, or gifting your children a future of freedom. All because of a penny you almost overlooked. So I'll leave you with this cliffhanger of a question. The next time you hold a penny in your hand, will it just be spare change? Or will it be the key to unlocking nearly $1 million in hidden wealth? Imagine reaching into an old drawer, pulling out a dusty jar of pennies, and finding one coin that could change your life forever. Not $100, not even $1,000. I'm talking about nearly $1 million from a single penny. Now, before you dismiss this as just another internet rumor, let me stop you right here. This story is real. It's about the 1939 Lincoln 1-cent penny with no mint mark. A coin that, under the right conditions, has sold for an astonishing $939,000 in today's market. And yes, you might already have one sitting unnoticed in your home. Think about that for a moment. A penny that has outlived generations, quietly waiting, and now worth more than a luxury home. So how does an ordinary-looking coin become a once-in-a-lifetime jackpot? And more importantly, how can you tell if your penny is the hidden treasure collectors are hunting for? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and why the clock is ticking if you want to turn copper into fortune. Let's rewind back to 1939. America was recovering from the Great Depression, standing at the edge of World War II. Copper was still plentiful, but the demand for resources was increasing. Every coin minted during this era carried history in its metal. Now here's the first twist. Most 1939 pennies were struck in Philadelphia, which means they bear no mint mark. At first glance, that sounds ordinary. But here's the secret. A small fraction of these coins were struck with unusual precision, rare die varieties, and immaculate condition, making them almost mythical to collectors today. Pause for a second. How many times have you brushed past old pennies thinking, it's just a cent? Well, ask yourself this. What if one of those cents was actually your early retirement plan in disguise? And here's where things get intense. Only a handful of 1939 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies in top condition have survived. Most were lost in circulation, scratched, or worn down. But those rare survivors, they're now commanding prices so high they're rewriting what people thought possible for small change. Picture this. At an exclusive coin auction, a collector raises their paddle. The room is silent. The hammer drops at over $939,000. For a penny. For something you could mistake for pocket change. Does that make you wonder what's hiding in your own collection? Now, here's a humorous thought. How many times have you tipped a waiter with a fortune and never even knew it? That's the danger and the thrill of this coin. So what separates an ordinary penny from the million-dollar treasure? 3 things. Condition, rarity, and demand. Condition means the coin is nearly flawless, with crisp details on Lincoln's coat and sharp lettering. Rarity comes from those few surviving high-grade strikes. And demand? Well, collectors are competing fiercely, driving the price higher every year. But there's a cliffhanger you need to hear. Not every 1939 penny is valuable. In fact, most are only worth a few cents. So how do you tell the difference? That's the million-dollar question, and we're about to answer it. Here's what you need to do right now. Go through every coin jar, every old drawer, every inherited box from your parents or grandparents. Look for the 1939 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Flip it over. Check the condition. If it's scratched, worn, or faded, it might only fetch a few dollars. But if it gleams with sharp detail, with Lincoln's profile standing proud as though freshly struck, you could be holding a 6-figure treasure. And if it's graded professionally by services like PCGS or NGC, your chances of hitting that $939,000 jackpot skyrocket. Now, let's bring it back to you. Imagine the moment of discovery. You walk into an auction house with nothing more than an old penny. You walk out with wealth that could wipe away debts, buy your dream home, or secure your family's future. But here's the urgency. These coins are disappearing into private collections. Every year, fewer surface in public auctions, which means the opportunity is shrinking, and waiting too long could cost you everything. So the question is, will you let your penny slip through your fingers, or will you take action and claim the wealth that could already be sitting in your pocket? The treasure hunt is real, and it begins with you. And who knows, the next million-dollar story the world hears could be yours. Imagine holding a single penny in your hand, a coin so ordinary it blends into the change jar on your kitchen counter. Now picture that same penny quietly carrying the power to transform your life with nearly $1 million. Sounds impossible, doesn't it? Well, today we uncover one of the greatest hidden treasures in American coinage. The 1941 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Stay with me, because what seems like a simple piece of copper could actually be your ticket to wealth, freedom, and perhaps the lifestyle you've always dreamed of. But let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly checked the pennies lying around your house? That drawer in the kitchen, the piggy bank in the attic, the jar tucked away in the garage? Because if you overlook them, you may be ignoring one of the most valuable coins in the United States today. And before you think, come on, it's just a penny, let me tell you. A genuine 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln cent has already shocked collectors by reaching a current market value of up to $941,000. That's right, $941K for a single cent. To understand why this coin is so valuable, we need to step back into history. The year was 1941. America was on the brink of entering World War II. Resources were stretched thin, and the U.S. Mint was producing coins under immense pressure. Millions of pennies were struck, but here's the twist. Most carried small mint marks like D for Denver or S for San Francisco. Yet some coins bore no mint mark at all, struck directly in Philadelphia. Now, you may be thinking, so what? Isn't that normal? Here's where things get interesting. The 1941 Philadelphia penny is not rare in quantity, but rare in quality. Only a handful survived in pristine condition, untouched by circulation. Those flawless survivors, graded by experts at the highest levels, became unicorns in the coin world. And let me tell you, when collectors smell rarity, when investors sense scarcity, the prices skyrocket. Imagine an auction floor where grown men and women battle fiercely, raising their paddles for a penny. Not a diamond, not a bar of gold, a penny. The bidding climbs higher, the crowd gasps, and suddenly, that small copper coin is hammered sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. This isn't just about money. It's about the thrill of finding something extraordinary hidden in plain sight. It's about turning an overlooked object into a life-changing discovery. Pause for a moment. Ask yourself, how many times have you dismissed a penny as worthless? How many times have you said, it's just 1 cent? What if the very coin you ignored was worth more than your car, your house, or even your retirement savings? And here's a pattern interrupt for you. If you're tempted to toss pennies into that fountain at the mall for good luck, stop. Because with this coin, the luck is already in your pocket. So where does this leave you? Right now, somewhere in America, someone is sitting on a 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln penny without even knowing its true worth. Could be you. Could be the jar in your basement. Could be the change you got from the grocery store last week. But here's the urgency. Coins like these do not stay hidden forever. As time passes, collectors are racing to secure them. Prices are climbing, and opportunities are slipping away. Every day you wait, every coin you ignore, could be another door closing on your chance at life-changing wealth. Here's the truth. The market has already valued this coin at up to $941,000. That's not a dream. That's not a myth. That is today's reality. And if you think these treasures only belong to professional collectors or wealthy investors, think again. Some of the biggest discoveries came from everyday people just like you, cleaning out a drawer, sorting through a jar, or glancing twice at a coin they almost gave away. So let me leave you with this cliffhanger. Tonight, when you empty your pockets or peek into that old change jar, will you be the one to discover a fortune hiding in plain sight? Or will you let another rare treasure slip through your fingers? Imagine holding in your hand a penny so ordinary, so plain, that most people would toss it into a jar without a second thought. Now imagine that same penny secretly carrying a hidden value worth more than most luxury homes in America. Today we're uncovering the incredible story of the 1942 D-Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent coin. A coin that could look just like the ones buried in your old dresser drawer, but one that has stunned collectors by reaching market values as high as $942,000. Yes, you heard that right. Close to $1 million for a penny. But here's the real question. Do you have one of these treasures sitting unnoticed in your home? And more importantly, would you even recognize it if you did? Stay with me because over the next few minutes I'm going to reveal the secrets behind this coin, how it came to exist, why it's so rare, and how a few simple details could mean the difference between 1 cent and life-changing wealth. And just to keep your mind awake, let's be honest. Have you ever dropped a penny on the ground and thought, it's not even worth picking up? Well, after this, you might start crawling under vending machines for a living. To understand the mystery of the 1942 D penny, we have to step back into a time of global tension. It was the middle of World War II. The United States Mint was producing millions of coins to fuel the wartime economy. But resources were scarce. Copper was urgently needed for weapons and machinery. So here's where the story twists. In 1942, most Lincoln cents were struck in copper, but minting errors, experiments, and sudden wartime adjustments led to anomalies. The Denver Mint, marked with that tiny D below the date, produced a number of coins that didn't quite follow the rules. Now, these tiny imperfections, barely visible to the naked eye, are what separate an ordinary penny from a fortune. Maybe it's a double die in the lettering. Maybe it's an off-metal strike. Or maybe it's a pristine condition coin that somehow escaped the scratches and bruises of circulation. And here's the suspense. Thousands of these coins are floating around. Some are worth $1. Some are worth 100. But a select few, the rarest of the rare, have fetched prices approaching $1 million. You see, collectors aren't just buying metal. They're buying history. They're buying the chance to hold in their hands a survivor of one of the most turbulent periods in American history. But let me pause for a moment and ask, if I handed you a jar of pennies right now, would you know which one could fund your retirement? Or would you unknowingly spend it on a cup of gas station coffee? This is where the story gets real. Just last year, a pristine 1942 D Lincoln penny shocked the market, selling for $942,000. That's nearly $1 million for something most people would overlook. So what should you look for? First, the mint mark. A small D under the date, indicating Denver. Next, condition. Coins graded at the highest level, known as mint state, hold unimaginable value. And then the rarities. Errors, double dies, off-metal strikes. These are the golden tickets. But here's the urgency. Coins like this don't sit on the market forever. The demand is growing. Collectors are hunting. And the window to uncover these treasures in your own possession is closing. Think about it. One overlooked coin in your attic could be the difference between financial struggle and a lifestyle of true freedom. Between worrying about bills and stepping into generational wealth. So, are you going to let that jar of pennies keep gathering dust? Or will you take a closer look, knowing one of them could carry the weight of a fortune? Because here's the truth. The next great discovery is always made by someone who least expects it. And it could be you. Imagine the feeling of calling your family into the room, holding up a coin no bigger than your thumbnail, and saying, "This just changed our lives forever." That's not just a penny. That's possibility. That's power. That's history whispering your name. So go check. Because your $1 million coin may already be in your hands. Imagine pulling open an old wooden drawer. Inside, under a pile of yellowed receipts and forgotten buttons, you find a single copper penny. You turn it in your hand, and at first glance it feels ordinary. But what if I told you that tiny coin could be worth not just a few dollars, not even thousands, but close to $1 million today? Yes, a simple 1944 Lincoln penny with no mint mark can carry a market value of up to $944,000. Now, before you laugh this off and say, "It's just a penny? Who would pay that much?" Let me ask you, how many times have you walked past a fortune because it didn't look like one? How many times have you dismissed the power of small things? This story isn't just about copper and cents. It's about opportunity. And tonight, I'm going to show you why this coin could change your future and why you must act before it's too late. First, let's rewind to 1944. The world was at war. Steel was reserved for weapons, tanks, and ships. America needed copper desperately. And in the middle of this urgency, the U.S. Mint struck Lincoln pennies out of copper instead of steel. Now here's the twist. Some coins slipped through the cracks with errors. Some carried faint markings. Others none at all. And those mistakes are today's treasures. Collectors hunt for these like archaeologists chase lost civilizations. Because rarity equals value. And when a coin has both rarity and historical weight, wartime America, rationing, survival, it becomes more than money. It becomes legacy. But here's where you should lean in closer. Most 1944 pennies you'll see are worth maybe $1. Some can stretch to 20 or 30. But the 1944 no mint mark, especially in pristine condition, is the holy grail. So why the staggering price tag of $944,000? It's because only a microscopic fraction survived in high quality. Each one is like lightning trapped in copper. And once a collector finds it, they don't let it go. Now, pause for a second. Have you ever cleaned out a box of coins, shrugged, and tossed them aside? Imagine tossing away almost $1 million because you didn't know what to look for. That's the fear. That's the urgency. Every day, people sell their coins to middlemen for pennies on the dollar. And every day, millionaires are quietly made because someone recognized what others ignored. And let's be honest, we've all had that one drawer, right? The one that eats socks, receipts from 1987, and spare change. If you're thinking of that drawer right now, don't worry, you're not alone. But maybe, just maybe, that same drawer could be your retirement plan in disguise. Let's connect the dots. The 1944 no mint mark penny is valuable not just because of scarcity. It's also because of condition. Coin collectors live by a strict scale. grading coins from poor to mint state. A worn coin might fetch a few hundred, but a gleaming, untouched example, the kind that looks like it was struck yesterday, can break records at auctions. Here's the cliffhanger. One such penny, not long ago, changed hands for nearly $1 million. The buyer? A private collector whose name remains undisclosed. The seller? An ordinary individual, someone like you, who never imagined a coin jar could become a life-changing check. So, what does this mean for you? It means opportunity is sitting closer than you think. It means the dream of financial freedom doesn't always arrive in shiny gold. It might be hiding in a dusty penny you almost gave away. Think about the power here. One coin could pay off a mortgage. One coin could fund your children's college. One coin could buy you the life you've been postponing, waiting for someday. But here's the truth. Time is not your friend. The longer you wait, the more chances slip away. Collectors are always searching, and once the few remaining examples are locked into private collections, they won't come back. So tonight, after this video, I challenge you, go through your jars, your drawers, your forgotten boxes. Look carefully. Search for that 1944 penny with no mint mark, because the next success story could be yours. And if you think this is just hype, remember this: every millionaire made from a coin like this once thought the same thing. Until the check cleared. Here's the final thought to leave you with. Somewhere in America right now, someone is holding a 1944 no-mint mark penny without realizing it. The question is, will it be you who discovers it first? Imagine this. You're digging through an old jar of coins in your kitchen cabinet, the one you've ignored for years. You pull out a dull, brown penny. Ordinary. Forgettable. You almost toss it back. But wait, what if I told you that this very penny, a 1946 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent coin, could be worth nearly $1 million? Yes, you heard me correctly. A single cent that cost you nothing could carry a market value of $946,000. Now, before you think, that can't possibly be real, let me ask, what if ignoring that jar means you're throwing away your family's chance at financial freedom? That's the terrifying truth. Old coins are hiding in plain sight, and most people walk right past their fortune without even knowing it. So stay with me until the end of this video, because I'm going to reveal how a humble 1946 Lincoln cent became a treasure worth nearly $1 million, and how you can identify if you have one sitting right under your nose. But first, let's interrupt the seriousness for a second. Be honest, how many times have you found a penny on the ground and walked right over it? You might start kicking yourself after this video. Let's rewind to 1946. The Second World War had just ended. America was rebuilding, factories were shifting back from producing weapons to making everyday goods, and millions of coins were minted to keep up with a booming economy. On the surface, the Lincoln penny from 1946 looks ordinary. Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front, the wheat ears on the back. But here's the catch: rare variations, minting errors, and condition grades turn some of these coins into jaw-dropping treasures. Now here's the conflict. Most 1946 pennies are only worth face value, 1 cent, maybe a few dollars if in excellent condition. And that's where most people stop looking. They shrug and say, "Ah, just another old penny." But the truth is, one version of the 1946 no-mint mark penny shattered all expectations, skyrocketing in value because of its flawless condition, historical significance, and sheer rarity. That's how its market value reached a staggering $946,000. And here's the scary part. Most collectors and even casual sellers let these coins slip through their fingers. They sell them off in bulk for pennies on the dollar, never realizing they're essentially handing over a winning lottery ticket. Which brings me to the million-dollar question. Could you have one? Quick reality check. If you're sitting there thinking, "Come on, my old penny isn't worth anything," let me ask you this. Did you think Beanie Babies, comic books, or baseball cards would one day sell for thousands? History is full of everyday things turning into priceless collectibles. So why not the penny rattling around in your drawer? So how do you know if your 1946 no-mint mark Lincoln cent is worth nearly $1 million? First, condition. Collectors call it mint state. That means the coin looks untouched, like it just rolled off the press. No scratches, no dulling, no signs of circulation. Second, rarity. While millions of 1946 pennies were struck, only a tiny fraction survived in pristine condition. And third, provenance. Coins with strong authentication and grading by top agencies like PCGS or NGC carry the highest market values. Now here's the cliffhanger. Are you ready for this? Just one of these rare 1946 no-mint Mark Lincoln cents sold in recent years for a jaw-dropping $946,000. Imagine opening your drawer and discovering that kind of wealth sitting there unnoticed. And let's be real, most of us dream of financial freedom, a chance to pay off debt, retire early, maybe even live that wealthy lifestyle we've always imagined. The fear is missing the opportunity because we didn't pay attention. The excitement? That opportunity is literally in your hands. Maybe right now. So here's what you need to do. Don't ignore your old coins. Gather them, examine them, research them, and when you find that 1946 penny or any rare coin, get it graded, get it appraised, and never settle for less than what it's worth. Remember, the difference between a penny that's worth 1 cent and one that's worth nearly $1 million is not luck. It's knowledge. And today, you've taken the first step toward that knowledge. So what's sitting in your coin jar? Is it just pocket change? Or is it your $1 million breakthrough? If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more insights on rare coins that could change your life. And share this with someone who keeps ignoring the pennies lying around. You might just save them from missing their fortune. Because sometimes, the smallest coin carries the biggest secret. What if I told you that a single penny sitting in a dusty jar, tucked away in your drawer, could be worth nearly $1 million today? Yes, you heard that right. 1 cent, transformed into $948,000. Now, before you laugh and think, come on, a penny can't buy even a piece of gum anymore, let me stop you right there, because the 1948 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark is no ordinary coin. It carries a secret that has shaken collectors, investors, and everyday Americans who never thought twice about the change in their pockets. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you'll not only discover why this coin is commanding staggering prices at auctions, but also how owning or even finding one could dramatically change your financial destiny. Here's a question to reset your attention. When was the last time you actually looked closely at the coins in your wallet? If your answer is never, well, after this video, I promise you'll never look at spare change the same way again. Let's travel back to 1948. America was healing from World War II, and families were dreaming of stability and prosperity. Pennies were minted by the millions, yet within those ordinary strikes, something extraordinary slipped through. The 1948 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark, minted in Philadelphia, became a quiet legend. Not because of how many were made, but because of the condition, the rarity of perfectly preserved examples, and the explosive demand from collectors who know how scarce untouched survivors really are. Here's the truth. Most of these pennies were spent, worn down, tossed aside. But a small handful, hidden in drawers, stashed in jars, or saved by chance, survived with immaculate detail. And those few survivors? They are now worth close to $1 million. The latest auction results confirm it. One of these coins reached an eye-watering $948,000 in market value. Think about that for a second. A coin you or your grandparents might have handled while buying a loaf of bread could now pay for a luxury home, erase debts, and secure your family's future. But here's where it gets interesting. People always ask me, how do I know if my coin is worth a fortune? And here's the cliffhanger. I'll reveal the key signs you need to check on your own penny in just a moment. First, let's address the fear. Most Americans unknowingly spend rare coins every single day. Yes, million-dollar treasures slipping through hands and cash registers without a second glance. Imagine the heartbreak of realizing you once had a rare penny but let it go for a candy bar. That's why urgency is everything. If you own coins from the 1940s, especially a 1948 penny with no mint mark, you must act now and examine them before it's too late. Now, let's lighten the mood for a second. Think of it this way: what if your piggy bank is basically your retirement account, and you didn't even know it? That's one way to skip Wall Street. All right, back to business. How do you spot a life-changing penny? First, look for the absence of a mint mark under the date. Second, condition matters. Sharp details, clean surfaces, and minimal wear can multiply the value exponentially. And third, professional grading is the gatekeeper. A coin authenticated and graded at the highest levels transforms curiosity into undeniable wealth. Here's the big reveal. The 1948 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial penny in pristine, graded condition has commanded up to $948,000 in today's market. And yes, ordinary people like you, have stumbled across these very coins in inherited collections, old jars, or forgotten piggy banks. This is not just about numismatics. It's about opportunity. It's about transforming what most people ignore into something life-changing. So let me ask you this. If there was even a 1% chance that a penny in your home could be worth nearly $1 million, wouldn't you want to know? Wouldn't you want to check before it's too late? Because here's the real urgency. Every year, fewer of these coins surface. Every year, more of them are locked away in private collections, never to return to the open market. And every year, the value climbs higher. The clock is ticking, and hesitation is the only thing standing between you and possibility. So tonight, when you empty your pockets, don't toss those pennies aside. Look closely. Search for 1948. Search for no mint mark. Because one simple discovery could be the turning point that changes your financial destiny forever. And remember this, wealth is not always hidden in faraway investments. Sometimes it's been sitting in your hands all along. So go, check your coins. Because your $1 million moment may be closer than you think. What if I told you that same penny could pay off your house, your car, and still leave you with enough left over to retire in comfort? That is not a fantasy. It is reality. Today, we're diving into a story that begins in 1949 with a coin most people ignore. Yet a single specimen of this coin has shattered the marketplace with a current value of $949,000. Yes, you heard that right. A penny worth nearly $1 million. But here's the twist. Carries no mint mark. It looks ordinary, and that is precisely why it hides in plain sight. Now, before you brush this off as too good to be true, let me ask you this. How many times have you checked your change jar, your drawer, or the old coffee can in the attic? What if your fortune has been sitting there for decades, gathering dust? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this 1949 Lincoln cent is shaking collectors to their core, and how you could be the next person holding a life-changing piece of history. Let's set the stage. The year is 1949. Post-war America. Gas was 27 cents a gallon, Harry Truman was president, and the Lincoln cent was still the most common coin in circulation. Millions rolled off the presses. And yet, hidden among them, without any mint mark, lies a class of coins that would defy the odds. Why no mint mark? The answer is simple yet powerful. Coins struck in Philadelphia traditionally bore no mint mark. To the casual observer, that absence means nothing. To a trained eye, it is the first clue of rarity. But rarity alone does not explain why this penny can fetch nearly $1 million today. Condition is everything. Imagine a coin that has survived 7 decades without scratches, without wear, its surface glowing with the brilliance of its first strike. That is like finding a 1949 Cadillac convertible with 0 miles on it. Unheard of. And here's the kicker. Collectors are not just buying a piece of copper. They are buying history. They are buying the story of survival. They are buying the bragging rights of owning a coin almost no one else can possess. Now, let me interrupt for a moment. You might be thinking, it's just a penny. How much difference can condition make? Well, think of baseball cards. One crease turns a fortune into pocket change. Same rules apply here. And that's where the excitement turns into urgency. Because while most people toss these coins aside, a handful of collectors are paying extraordinary sums to secure the best examples. So here is the $1 million question. Could you own one? Maybe. If you have old jars of coins, inherited collections, or even childhood savings boxes, the answer is yes. This coin may be sitting quietly among them, waiting for discovery. Now let me leave you with a cliffhanger. Experts estimate that fewer than a dozen flawless 1949 no-mint Mark Lincoln cents exist in the condition that brings in hundreds of thousands. Do you see what that means? Every time someone finds one, the number left decreases. The window of opportunity narrows. The current market peak? $949,000. 1 penny. Nearly $1 million. But markets are living things. Today's peak may be tomorrow's floor. Here's the irony. Every day, people overlook what could be their golden ticket. Every day, fortunes are literally passing from hand to hand in change, and no one notices. So ask yourself, are you going to walk past that penny? Or are you going to look closer? This is more than coin collecting. This is about reclaiming forgotten value. This is about rewriting your financial story with something as humble as a 1-cent coin. And if you're still here, listening, then maybe it's your turn. Maybe the next story whispered in hushed tones among collectors will be yours. Because in the end, wealth is not just found. It is recognized. And the 1949 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent might just be the recognition you've been waiting for. Imagine this. You're holding a penny. Just 1 cent, something so ordinary. Most people drop it on the ground and don't even bother to pick it up. But what if I told you that same penny, if it's the right one, could unlock a fortune worth nearly $1 million? Yes, you heard that right. A simple 1952 Lincoln penny with a tiny D mint mark, struck in Denver, has shaken the coin-collecting world with a staggering market value of $952,000. Now pause for a moment. Think about how many pennies you've seen in your lifetime. In your drawer, in a jar, in the console of your car. What if you've had this treasure all along, hiding in plain sight? But here's the twist. Most people never recognize it. They toss it aside, or worse, spend it for a pack of gum, completely unaware of what they've lost. And that fear, the fear of missing out on life-changing wealth, is exactly why you need to stay with me until the very end. Because today we're going to unravel the secrets behind the 1952 D Lincoln penny. And by the time we're done, you'll know how to tell the difference between just another old copper coin and a ticket to financial freedom. Let's start with a little history. The year was 1952. America was post-war, booming with opportunity, and pennies were still struck from 95% copper. The Denver Mint was churning out coins in the millions. Ordinary, everyday pennies. But here's the catch. Not every coin that rolled off those machines was ordinary. Some came out with extraordinary precision, while others, due to rare errors or unique striking conditions, became anomalies. These anomalies are the coins collectors hunt for, and among them, the 1952 D penny stands as a giant. Now, you may be wondering, why would anyone pay close to $1 million for a penny? Here's the truth. In the world of numismatics, the science of coins, value comes from 3 pillars: rarity, condition, and demand. If a coin has all 3, it's no longer just money. It's a masterpiece. Picture this. You walk into an auction hall. The room goes silent. A single coin is placed under the spotlight. A 1952 D penny, glowing in flawless condition. The bidding starts modestly, $5,000, $10,000, $100,000, and then it skyrockets. Hands fly up. The auctioneer's voice trembles with excitement. And suddenly, the gavel slams. Sold. Nearly $1 million for a single cent, but here's the real kicker. These coins don't just belong in museums or private collections. They could be in your possession right now, inherited from a grandparent, sitting unnoticed in a forgotten jar. Have you checked? Seriously, when was the last time you sifted through that pile of coins? And let me interrupt this moment with a quick laugh. Imagine explaining to your spouse that the jar of pennies in the laundry room is suddenly worth more than your entire house. Awkward conversation, right? But it could be real. Now, let's talk details. The most valuable 1952 D pennies are the ones in pristine mint state. Sharp details, no scratches, full luster. Professional graders call these MS65 or higher. That's when the value explodes. And sometimes unique minting errors like double dies, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks multiply that value even further. But here's the suspense. Most people can't tell the difference between a common penny and a rare one at first glance, which means millions of dollars might be slipping through fingers every single day. So, what does this all mean for you? It means opportunity. It means urgency. And it means possibility. Some people dream of wealth as if it requires lottery tickets or risky investments. But the truth is, generational wealth can sometimes hide in the smallest of places. A shoebox, a drawer, a dusty coin jar. The 1952 D penny is proof of that. Proof that overlooked treasures exist. Proof that life-changing wealth is not reserved for the few. It's waiting for the ones who pay attention. So tonight, after watching this, I want you to do something simple. Go find your coins. Search every box, every drawer, every jar. Hold each penny like it could be the one. Because maybe, just maybe, it is. And let me leave you with this cliffhanger. The 1952 D penny may not be the only coin worth this much. In fact, there are other rare pennies hiding in circulation right now, each capable of rewriting your financial future. But that is a story for our next video. Because sometimes the smallest things in your hand can lead to the biggest change in your life.